Welcome to our Facebook broadcast with our a group of Thommen friends who have been enjoying the shapes of Peter for quite a while. You see we have quite a collection here, and I think it's time to welcome Peter here, and we go through these different shapes and kind of the ranges we have. But first, welcome to Peter from all of us here at...
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for taking the effort to come down and meet all of the guys here. We've been quite we've been working together. I mean, maybe an interesting story about how it all started. 2004, we kind of separated from the company, which is no longer here. Or
it's still a sticker.
It's still a sticker, yes. And they make some snowboards and stuff. No worries, all good. And we started, we were talking back and forth, and we always said, yeah, maybe it's time to do our own thing. And we started, I guess, in 2004, that was-ish. Yeah. 2004-ish. And we started with our first boards. Soon we had the honor of Björn Dunkelbeck joining us. Rewarding us with a world title even on our T1 boards, as it was branded. As you can see on the bottom of the board, the Thommen T logo with the Swiss flag in it. And from there we started producing boards. We sold quite some boards. We sold a little bit less due to issues with our manufacturers. And then after so many years we decided enough is enough. Let's make stuff we actually really think we should be giving to the people, and that is custom-made boards. We were lucky enough to have we have teamed up with with a factory in Slovenia, the guys from Flicka in Ljubljana, where Peter is making his boards. They're building our boards. And we're small, but I think we're beautiful, and we're very colorful, as you can see on the black background. We were lucky enough also to, at that stage, to team up with the guys from Brunotti, who re-entered into the windsurfing world, and who were cool enough to pay for quite some development, which we have done. Boards where we have, which we developed because of their funds, and as a result, we now having Ricardo Campello on our boards, also for 2019, which is something we're very happy with.
Yeah, that's cool.
Peter and I.
Looking forward to that.
We're he was very happy with his boards. He got several offers after doing so well, but he decided to stick with us. And thank you, Ricardo, for that.
Hello.
Very cool. And you'll be seeing more of him next year. The guy is on the full attack mode. So yeah, Brunotti, we started with basically a full range, and we narrowed it down, and one of the boards which we actually designed, which is now one of our biggest hits, is the Glidewunder, and I think I'll grab one from the...
yeah, grab one.
I'll grab one, yes. Place, so. Can you hold this? Yeah, Ronald? Here's one, this is... Marcel, this is yours. This is Marcel's full carbon stick, lifted with one hand, and it's an incredible machine. And so it's not only us talking about boards, but we kind of, first of all, I'd like to ask Peter how we kind of came up with this thing when I saw a beach full of people here in Hindeloopen. There was 200 rigs and boards on the beach. It was a summer weekend, pretty busy. And actually there was nobody out there because the wind wasn't enough. And I was like, shit, there's one guy going. And that guy was going on a really, really old style Klepper S whatever, powered by some sails which no longer exist. It's a UP from, I think it was France.
Yeah, it was French. Yeah.
UP was enormous belly in the sail, but the sail was only 6.5 square meters, and there was like 8s and 9s and 10 square meters, and nobody was daring to go out. But still, that board was going. And I was like, next call was to Peter. See, Peter, this is something we have to tap into. This is a market where I can see where we can actually, and we can we can, you know, for all those weekend warriors, we can actually make sure that they get out there and enjoy windsurfing instead of sinking on their, you know, huge sails, powerless huge sails, their boards which are way too short, which only work with massive fins. So we have to come up with something which actually works for the average windsurfer. And we came up with, well, you made a proposal, and that was the initial Kermit board from Brunotti. Yeah. And we came up with this. Tell us a little bit about it, Peter, if you will.
I just approached light wind freeride sailing from a different point than basically all the other shapers, board manufacturers look at it. I didn't want to go from it as make a race board, a slalom board, accessible. So I came from it from a very
For
different...
the older women tuning in, we have Rintje Ritsma here, which is a famous... Yeah, give him a big hand. The girls of 50 and 60, they all know him. But he's an excellent windsurfer. So we are happy to have him on our board. He's a good friend. So I'll get so much shit off this later on. Go ahead.
So anyway, I just wanted to come up with something with a board that would get to a plane really easily. And once you get planing, would be really easy and simple to sail. Because most of the freeride light wind beginner boards are actually hard to get planing, need a lot of power, and then once they get going, they get really powerful, and you need actually a good skill set to make them work. So that was what I wanted to avoid, and came up with something that looks different, that is based on a different idea, and seems to work pretty well. People were happy pretty much right off the bat. I wanted something that would get into a plane without having to go over a big hump. So the difference from gliding to planing is almost not noticeable. And also when the wind gets a bit fluky, it comes down and accelerates again. Make it a bit thinner so it doesn't get too powerful when you start a turn. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we did, one of the basic ingredients is, which is a longer stretched outline of this board. It's a much straighter board, which also accumulates to a certain length. They're a little bit longer.
I mean, it's 265, which back 10 years ago was a waveboard.
Exactly.
So it's not super, it's not, you know, it's not a 3 meters 60. Right?
In the perception of a lot of people, a lot of brands, this is a very short board, a very long board. Their boards are around 240-ish. This is 25 centimeters longer, which also gives that extra volume. You know, the main sole board is...
And the balance as well.
Yeah, but the volume gets beefed up by like a 20, 25, 30 liters. So people, you know, thinking, a Glide Wonder 165, you really want me to sail on a board like that big? No. I never owned a board that big. I said, yeah, go ahead, get it. You'll be surprised. It works for you. Even if you're, you know, once in the 165, you take that if you're around 85 to 95 kilos of weight, and it works well for you. Marcel, this is your board.
And I'm loving it. It's playing with ease, and I think 80% of the time this year for me was windsurfing with the Glide Wonder. So if I didn't have this board, I should have made less hours than I did this year. And I think it's also funny that people are stopping me on the water and asking me how is it possible that you can plane. Even kiters or other guys, they are wondering why I can plane and the other guys are standing still. And the first time that I went out with this board, I had also the same feeling. I was walking to the water, and I think all the people are staring at me thinking, what is this guy doing with us? It's so less wind. And then I get on the water, hearing Mark saying to me from this board planes with ease. Didn't believe it, but then I saw a small breeze, little bit of pumping, and I went out and I was planing, and I never forget that feeling. I had a big smile on my face, and it's one of the favorite boards that I have.
Yeah.
I've also the Cross R and the G Wave, and I all love those boards, but this one is a really special for me.
Yeah.
Gets you on the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gives you water time. Next to Marcel is Bram.
Yeah.
Hi Bram. Bram is also the proud owner of a glide wonder. It's somewhere, it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the black one.
What is?
I choose for a rootveeg design. It's politically correct, so it's not black. It's rootveeg. I love the board. I'm
Whatever that
windsurfing
means.
myself since 1972, so that's a long time ago. Many of you were maybe not born there, but I saw the beginning with Martin Spanje importing boards from Tenkate. I've sailed a lot of stuff. And then I met Mark, I think last year in Stavoren. He showed me his glide wonder. He said, give it a try, and I tried it. And 10 minutes later, I said, I want one like that. So I was convinced by this board. You can get planing very easy, it's already said, but also in the chop with 25 knots, I can still sail it. So it doesn't start flying. I mean, bigger boards, normally you can have a small wind range, but this one you can just keep sailing.
Exactly.
It is like a real big wave board, and I love it. And me too, 80% of the time I'm sailing it.
Yeah. Well, I remember a crossing Marcel and I made this summer. We went to the other side from here, Hindeloopen, to the other side at the Afsluitdijk, which is the closing barrier for to the North Sea. And we were going out. It was barely, it was barely planable along the way. We got more and more wind close to the Afsluitdijk. It was really hammering. And the board, the waves, they went up to this size. And I can tell you from the old days, once I was using like a 3X 145 from Peter in those days, I had no control. Now I was just smiling, just bearing off, letting it go, giving the free reins, and the board would just fly. It would just haul around that course. And I think everybody has that same impression. Next to him, to Bram, is Gert-Jan. And Gert-Jan, it was an interesting story with Gert-Jan, because Gert-Jan is, he came into the shop like he always does. We don't see him for a year or 2 years, and all of a sudden he comes in and he wants something instantly because it's a long trip. So, I said, I was caught in between. I said, because normally I would sell him a 165, or I would advise him a 165, but I didn't have a 165. I only had a 145, which is kind of the girls' edition, She walked away, Susanna, because she probably doesn't want to be on camera, but Susanna has a 145 and she's loving it as well. So I got that to Bram, and I told, the guy's maybe a little bit too heavy for that board, so he would actually need something in between. Now we had a chance to try, even had a chance to foil on it, and he got a 185 now, the bigger one.
180.
Yes.
Yeah.
185, the XL. This we call as
big
refer
one.
as an L and the XXL, or the XL. Tell us about it, Gert-Jan.
Still looking for the right trim on the board. The planing is fantastic on the board, and what I really found amazing was the way it jives. You expect a big board, it won't jive, but it stays very good in the curve, and you have almost all the jives are full planing jives.
That's the idea, to make it work.
And you go as one of the first ones. Don't tell the nickname of the board at the Brouwersdam. But people, you can even challenge a foil, not by length, but by speed. You keep up.
Yeah, especially in the foils, they have some advantage in the really low wind area. But as soon as you're around 10, 11, 12 knots, this one is easy. It's quicker. And goes through lulls, so it's way easier to find. Next to Gert-Jan is Henk, Happy Henk, the Happy Hanker. Happy Hank has a very special color I have to show you guys. I mean, this is the rainbow. There it is, Hank holder. And
because I lost a little bit interest in light wind sailing. And thanks to the light winder and the green frog, I got it. It's the 145.
In San Francisco.
I came back into light wind sailing on sea. I always surfing on sea, and this board amazes about the wave visibilities. Because even with a little bit more wind, it still stays in control.
Exactly.
In the waves. and it still floats, it still goes. Even with the bigger sails, it's total control. Never had once spin out. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what the Glide Wonder does for me. It brings a lot more hours on the water with a lot of fun sailing. Not like slalom sailing, going like an idiot one way to the other way.
Like an idiot.
Yes, the same. Oh yeah, you swapped it again, huh? Yeah,
You have the same.
Yeah.
That's the same kind.
Yeah.
It does exactly the same probably.
We made the one in between. I think this is a 155, a special made for you. Which is always a possibility if somebody thinks, I need a little bit less. Well, we give you a little bit less.
Yeah.
Remco, you own one as well. You're sailing on small lake close to your house.
Yeah, in the north of Holland, and close to Alkmaar.
Yeah.
I do that mostly on the lakes over there, and I use this one the most. I have the same
The cross.
as Marcel has, the cross and the Glide Wonder, and like you always say, 80% you sail on this one because you can never, you can always sail, and it sails like a big wave board. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And last year I used it in Spain, in the north of Spain, and I was surfing every day.
Yeah.
And most likely the only one on the water.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I think we're kind of running out on our Glide Wonder owners here, but we have a prospect Glide Wonder owner here, and this is Michel. Come on, Michel. Don't hide. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said hi to Peter already,
We
but
haven't met yet.
Michel is a long time fan of your shape, so it's good to have Michel. He just showed up.
Okay.
I'm still on the old one, the X140.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Great one. So I did last year, and but I tried one, the green one.
And the black one.
Yeah.
The black one, but yeah, the green was very good, very maneuverability was very good. So it's a great board. So I have it next year, but
Yeah, I learned something since I did the 145. So
Yeah, but he's still happy with it.
it's all about making progress, but
it's
yeah.
the green one, and was
Yeah.
It's a long time ago. I think it's 10 years old, and it was
Yeah.
the first time. It was not here. It was another shop, and you sold them there in Harderwijk, I think, by Telstar. For the great look, great shape, and before that I was also for Fun and Function was also great. So good.
Hey,
good
Stop
stuff.
jullie.
But I don't have one.
Not yet.
Yet. But he tried them and he is he's close to getting one. Even his son is probably pushing him because
It's just a phone call away.
yeah, because his son Stan has been using it as well, and Stan probably weighs about 55 kilo or 60. He frustrates everybody when he's on this board. He gets going when kiters are even trying to keep their kites up in the air, and Stan is flying already on his dad's 6.9. So it's quite cool. Yeah, so this is about covering it up for that Glide Wonder. We'll tell you a little bit. We don't want to reveal everything because I think you should be an owner to get all the insight, but we hope to win you over and get one. But it's pretty much, it's a very straight rocker. It's not a water pusher. It's a concept which I insisted Peter to make sure it works with short fins because we have shallow waters here. In Holland we're not so fortunately to have deep waters, which is actually a blessing in a way as well. So because we discovered this, and we discovered our big waveboard. It comes standard with a 3-fin box. We have some thruster fins to make sure that you have enough fin. And it's also very pleasant in the jibing because if you have you use only a short fin, you will lose a little bit of track once you put it in the turn, and these trackers really help you control that. Most of the guys here are using the K4 fins, which we developed with Steve Thorpe. Good stuff, happy with that as well. And they actually work well. The plastic, fantastic, and you can actually use and abuse them here in the shallows, and it works well. Thinned out rails. Okay, there's some old goodie but oldie concaves and stuff. I'm not going to show you. It's hard to get on camera anyway.
You don't see him on camera.
You don't see them on
It's
camera.
subtle enough, so.
No, but if the guys from the other companies are watching, we're not going to tell it to you. we're not going to tell you how you can actually make people happy with their boards. We put in some features like this grab handle, which is convenient for me to show off how light they are, but it's also very interesting to carry the board to the water. Make sure that you don't bump them on your harness, but works well. A little bit extended deck box, because you can actually, if you have some older sails, it really works. You can find your trim. The neutral trim is the mid, but there's always a few centimeters front and a few centimeters ahead. It will. We have an optional Tuttle foil box, which is on Bram's board, which with this hump will accommodate for deep tuttle box, so you can actually foil it. It has special reinforcements, and Bram actually, he's using this board to go supping, so he has some sub leashes and a rail protect on it. Looks cool, but I'm not sure about the supping abilities of it.
It's a bit waggly, but
Yeah, it's
but
not.
it works.
You need length
It's
for
not.
It's
for
good
SUP.
exercise.
Yeah, and but a
Keeps
very
it-
special.
Trains your balance, right? Yeah.
One of a very interesting feature is our step deck, and Peter, maybe a short word to that. It's hard to get on camera, but
The step rail basically makes your rail profile a bit more symmetrical. Comes to a 50-50 rail, like a rounded rail. Has less volume, so it needs less power to be held in a turn. And since it's rounder at its apex, it actually sinks in a more neutral way and has less steering effect by itself. So it's just makes life easier, and it makes the board feel smaller.
exactly.
So you can, especially, on all type of boards basically, like on a waveboard, you always have the feeling of sailing a board that's has 10 liters less volume than it actually has. So that's the main idea.
Yeah. With this board, as said, Marcel and I doing that crossing, incredible. The wind really picked up,
Control was
and
fantastic.
and I'm not exaggerating, but the waves they roll up to a meter easily here in the IJsselmeer. They're only a meter apart from each other. It's really nasty to sail, nasty chop, and that thing handles like a beauty. And it's one of my favorite too. It really gives you a lot of hours on the water. Yeah, so much for the glide wonder. Stick around. We'll put it away and we'll go on to the next board, which is our cross. We have a cross. Where? Yeah, again a blue one. Yeah, they do good on camera.
Another blue one.
That one. Take that one. Yeah, Remco, yours.
Go for the blue stuff.
It's blue.
Yeah, the cross. This was actually one of our. This is a board which came from our Cross X, which is basically the board which crosses over. In the old days, we would say a wave slalom board, something in between.
Or a jump and bump in the US,
Bump and jump board. Works anywhere. Works with anything. I got guys putting camber sails on them. I got guys putting wave sails on them. If we do, Rinch and I, we like to do some crossings on a remote island, like 5-6 k away from the coast. And if it's fluky, he sets it up in a wave setup, and we go and we cruise for 4K out, and we tour around that little island. And he's on his Cross R, always got plenty of speed, enough drive. It's a next step from the Cross X, which we had, which is Gert-Jan still owns a Cross X. He's very happy with it. Our friend Kapper Johan has one, and he's still in love with it. Wim is there. He's hiding. He still has it, and he likes it. So people are still in love with their Cross X, but this is the next step. And I thought it was time for something which is even more of a all-rounder. When you get some nasty chop here on the IJsselmeer Lake, it's really cool to have a board which handles that as well, and handles it with ease, and which is a little bit more mellow than what we have with the Cross X, which was maybe a little bit more leaning towards the speedy side of things,
Yeah, sure.
and a little bit less toward to the wavier side of things. So we tried to find a balance between fast enough and maneuverable enough. And let's go with Rintje for a second. Rintje, this is not yours. Yours is in the back somewhere, or no, I put it in front. It's there.
Mostly in the back.
Mostly in the back. But you have a board exactly like this. I think it's a 110 liters. You're not the lightest guy, yet still it's floaty enough for you to get going. What's your general impression of your cross?
The cross is very impressive. It's easy to sail, especially the conditions on the IJsselmeer where we sailing most of the time. The conditions are very choppy. The wind is gusty, and you need some length. When the board is too short, it's pull you easy over the
Handlebars, yeah.
handlebars. So the length, for me, it's much easier to sail than the kind of freestyle boards you have. And it's fast, it's easy to jump, it's strong enough. So it's very important that you.
Yeah, especially for a guy like you.
Yeah. No, otherwise you're standing beside the lines with a broken board. You make not my friend Mark is not happy, and me either. So.
We've been there. We had that in the past with with the silver boards. Yeah, been there, done that.
So I'm very satisfied with the board, and still after them to go out, and especially it's working in most of the conditions. I can sail it with a 6.9, but it's still good enough with a 4.7.
Yeah.
6.9.
Yeah, he carries a 6.9 on it, and you know that's small.
He's a beast.
There's guys. Yeah, he's sailing more for sail, so he can actually sail smaller than he used to.
But that's the all-round conditions of the board. It's very wide, so and yeah, we need it here because the weather is changing a lot, and we have lots of conditions. So we need for sure. We have two boards and a range of sails, and I can use almost the whole range of the sails on one board.
Yeah. Marcel, yeah, you own one as well.
Yeah.
This is not yours. Also a blue one.
I owned also the Cross X, and what you mentioned that the Cross R gives you more comfort in the choppy waters. So that is what I think is the main difference.
It's a softer ride, yeah.
Yeah, and you can sail it with also the 110. I have 95 kilos, but I can sail it also with 8.0, also with 5.0. It's not a problem. You can use them with almost any sail. You just change your fin, sometimes with a 3 fin or a single fin. I have the 3 fin option. So it curves beautiful.
Yeah, it's
easy.
a carving machine, huh?
Yeah, the speed is very easy. You don't have to put a lot of effort in it. But so, yeah.
Yeah, and this one basically it comes with a double foot strap setup, or you can make a single out of it because we always use double screws. So just take one off, move it to the inside, and you have a single foot strap. We're making it even a little bit more wavier if you wish, because as said, it has the boxes in it.
Yeah, as well.
Remco, also, this is your board.
That's mine. Correct.
Tell us.
I did a Davy wind with this.
Oh yeah.
Summer. 9x4 with a 5.3 morpho on it. I loved it. A little crack on the nose, but that's it.
Okay.
And I invested in the gas oil fin, and that makes a lot of difference actually, instead of the yellow ones. No spin outs anymore, more control, more speed.
It's some of the best fins on the planet.
Yeah,
so
it's,
they're really good.
yeah. And what I like the most is that you come out of the water and people are looking, what kind of board is that? What kind of sail is that? There's always time for a talk about this. That's good. Yeah.
Good to hear. Yeah, Gert-Jan, you're still in love with your 107 Cross X, and this could be a possible successor or not. we were just joking that we are in our mid-50s, both of us. And Gert-Jan tends to do about 10 years with his average board, so that would bring him well into the pension age. So we have to think ahead, and for that we have an alternative. We developed an alternative board, which is the four-wheel drive, and we have one here. This, yeah.
This one. The in-between solution.
Yeah, this is the in-betweener, and this is a little bit of an old school look to it. It will give you the feeling that you just bought, what would I say, sunset slalomish kind of a board.
No, that didn't have didn't have a winger tail. It's like the Hi-Fi 295.
Exactly, the Hi-Fi 295.
Yeah,
That's what's
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You did it as well, huh?
No, Helmut did that.
Helmut did that one.
It was at the time when I was working with Hi-Fi.
With Hi-Fly, yeah. So this is basically that in between shape. It's leaning, it's banking on what we learned with the Gleitwunder, and it's using the knowledge of basically the other boards.
Yeah, of the last 40 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the wing tail helps to make that transition as well.
Yeah.
You get a wider planing surface where you need it, and you get the smaller tail so it doesn't get too powerful. So that was the reason why I actually went to that kind of old school solution, but it's effective, it helps.
It's very effective, I can tell. Actually, I'm doing most of the development of these boards together with my mates. I always gave them a spin. Tell me what you think about it, you like it, you enjoy it, what could we do about it? And it's actually a good thing to know that our boards are developed by real people, not skinny team riders, like we also have. But guys weighing 70, 75 kilos, which plane on anything. It doesn't matter what you give to them, they will go. I mean, I hate those guys. But we're real flesh and blood. We're a little bit older, a little bit lesser ability. Okay, I speak for myself. Maybe some other guys, they're way better than I am. But it's a fact that we need stuff which really helps us. And the material can never be your limitation. This is one of those boards which will enable you to glide into that pension, still sailing with those young boys on their on the short boards. And we're just enjoying a little bit more length, a little bit more ease of sailing, more control. I mean, that I'm heavier than like Remy there is, or my junior, or some other guy, doesn't mean I'm stronger. Doesn't mean I'm stronger. It means that I have less power than these kids have. So I need special tools. That's where we came up with it. Step deck, Peter made, and which is actually a real comfort enhancing tool. Yeah, Bram, I'm all over your board.
Yeah, it's my board, but it's still.
It's a big question for you. You haven't sailed it yet.
It never touched the water.
It's brand new. Yeah.
Virgin.
This is a full virgin board, but I can assure you that you will enjoy every minute of this. This is a perfect step between your Gleitwunder and a wave board for the stronger winds, and it will do. It will plane up quick. It will turn around. It will turn as your Gleitwunder does, and it's easy to control because, of course, it's a little bit it's narrower than your Gleitwunder, so it has a bigger wind range. It's a little bit shorter, not by much, but still some. And it's what's it, 10 cm or?
Yeah, this is
not too
I forgot.
Yeah, 255-ish. So it's 10 cm.
I made a few that were different in size.
So this is a board which will get keep you sailing until
till
Twente has no use for you anymore, and
until Twente is the seashore.
Till the sun till the sun goes down. Yeah.
Climate
yeah.
good.
Unfortunately, there's we made one for Susanne and Ralph, but nobody. I mean, the guys who have them, they're all They're not here, unfortunately. They're probably still sailing because they will never be stopped. Okay, 4-wheel drive, and you can get it either as a custom-made or as a small production board there, and Jort, our cameraman, just zooming into it. It's the green one in between. It's basically the same board as the one I have here.
Yeah.
And okay, we'll get into that later. What's next? We're into
F-wave.
New wave.
Where is one?
that's the one. Free wave. No, that's
This one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep, the free wave. As I'm getting older, I see that I just need I need a little bit more speed for things. I need a little bit more speed on the wave. And, every time that wave outruns me, I'm just not as quick as I used to be. And I'm not saying this is an old man's board, but it's a board which will give you a little bit more momentum in a wave. Still turns, still does it. It works fantastically on the IJsselmeer here. Peter, what can we say about the F-wave in terms of where does the rocker lie? What is the general idea?
Yeah, the idea was to come up with a wave board that would plane up quickly and keep speed easily and still be maneuverable enough to call it a wave board.
Yeah.
And so it's not just a big wave board. The concept is a bit different. You ride it, it rides slightly different than a regular wave board would, but that makes it actually work the way it does. That makes it maneuverable and is turn tight still on a wave, because you don't need the whole board to actually turn. It rides more of the tail, so you're riding the tail section of the board more than anything else. So the whole thing kind of pivots. Once you're going, it pivots back on its tail, and that's what you're riding.
Yeah. Basically
So
our
it's a
old
difference.
school
So
wave
it's
sailing. But don't be mistaken, I have a 101 F-wave, and that board doesn't only carry my 5.3, it also works with my 4.2. So it's an incredible wave range. So it's not a small, it's not per se a light wind wave board, it's a wave board which works in an extreme wide range and carries quite some sails. As said, 5.3 down to 4.2, 4.0 I've even tried. It's my board I would carry if I go to Tenerife, for instance, to do the R&D, the development of my sails, the Morpho sails with the guys from Flight. I would take my F-Wave 101 and I can use it basically in any conditions, try multiple fins on it, and so works single fin, works thruster fin setup, so it has that full range. We make it as a 95, as you can see that Morpho board there is a 95 liter. We made a special one for Hidde, first for Ronald, but now it went on to Hidde. You know, there's always the next generation not able to afford the new one, the brand new one, because the initial owner was Ronald here. Ronald says, I'm not using it enough to keep that board in my garage. He's very happy with his Wave R, which is there, and he's sailing that most of the time. He's one of those guys who really gets playing pretty easy. And now with the Morpho sails, look at that. I mean, he's a team rider, all right. Ronald said, okay, Hidde, here's your board. And Hidde is he's pretty new at windsurfing. You only started a couple of years ago.
Yeah, just 3 years ago, I guess. And started windsurfing with a Taboo rocket, 125 liters. Loved it, but soon I was getting more into bump and jump surfing and more kind of wave surfing. Had a Goya 1, 95 liters. love it, but I had this feeling that it stopped me when the wind was not strong enough, because I had to really get over this bump, and now I have this one here, and yeah, it just glides. It's way more easy than the other board I had, and I now love surfing in the waves.
Yeah.
This is a special edition for the ultralight Dinema.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't go crazy on it. Throw it on the rocks. Yeah. It survived. Yeah, Ronald. Yeah, you used to own it. Tell us a little bit about it. What do you find?
In the old days, I was waving and freestyling. I told Mark I need a waveboard for lighter wind, and he was mad about a
101. Yeah. My F wave.
For me personally, it was a little too big. So we talked about it with Peter. Mark, I want to have a nice waveboard for 5.347. So we had the scoop rocker line of the bigger board, but the thickness of the smaller board.
Yeah.
So it gave me the opportunity to have a little bit smaller waveboard with the height of a bigger board, so I can play very.
You got your glasses.
I can play very easy, and with the addition of a very light construction, it was fantastic.
Well, we have filing boards.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, this year it was my second year on this board, and here I wanted to have a waveboard. I said maybe you try this one, because I do kiting
Need my glasses.
and windsurfing with another board, 85 meters of this.
Not many questions.
With strong wind, he tried it once and he won't give it to me back.
Yeah, never lend your tongue to it. Doesn't work.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, I said I'm absolutely in love with that with my 101. I actually built we asked Peter to make me a 114, and we actually recently we made, and he's not here unfortunately, because I would like to show you that we actually have, we have even taller guys than Remco and Hidde here. My friend Matthijs, we built him the Big Bertha. The waveboard XXL, 130 liters. And now Matthijs is sailing, when all the smaller guys are out there, and he's not even using huge sails. He doesn't have to use huge sails because he's on morpho sails, and which gives you a tremendous amount of power. Yeah, that was coming.
That was easy.
That was easy. I'm trying to be neutral here, so I didn't put on my morpho sails.
What was the name of the sail?
Morpho sails. Yeah. It morphs from a small sail into a big sail. So small sail range, but incredible amount of power. And look at you guys, you need power. So, yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, Henk doesn't need power. He only has one morpho. You have to find it. But he can use his very small sail. But yeah, it's cool. We get some reactions on Facebook from some guys, and you can tell I'm a little bit older because I have to hold it about here. Somebody's phone, it's my daughter's, but it's set for girls of 17 and not of papas of 54. Will you be having foil boards in 2019? Yeah, actually we have one there. It's the Foil Wonder, and we can have a quick touch on that later on. Yeah. What else? Hi. Oh yeah. What was that?
Yeah. Hi to everybody.
Yeah. Hi to everybody. Thorsten Luig, mein Freund from Germany. Greetings back. Good old speed surfer. He held a record on a production speedboard for a while. The German and I think an international on one of our boards. So it was pretty cool to have Thorsten on our boards. And Peter Nageli, friend from Switzerland, blast from the past.
Yeah, we started building boards together. So
he says hi as well.
Streamline surfboards, that was our thing. And
he says aloha.
He works for Scott, he's the art director for a big company. Very talented guy.
And somebody says that Peter is the best. Well, I doubt that. Okay.
Me too.
Exactly. There's always room for improvement, and that's what we'll show. Okay,
That's the idea.
the F-Wave. Yeah, maybe it's time to move to something a little bit more. No, we have a step in between. We actually have the G-Wave, and which is the global waveboard.
Yeah,
the global
or the
waveboard.
general waveboard.
Yeah, or the general, or the global. Everybody likes globals.
Yeah,
What's
whatever.
in the name?
Where
Yeah.
is it?
Whatever-
Yeah, we can.
Whatever you put in it.
Yeah.
Here's one. Actually, yeah.
What is it?
Rintje, this is your stick.
Yeah,
Come.
the squashy.
Yeah, the squash.
A little bit more power of squash tail than on the. That's it.
Exactly. We
Adapted to the strong man. So yeah.
that's what we did. This is the in-between rocker between a radical waveboard and our free waveboard. So it sits kind of in between.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, okay, we have the G wave and the R wave, but honestly, I always adapt the waveboards to the customer.
Yeah.
It just makes sense because, in the Glide Wonder, we all have pretty much the same needs. We're asking for the same thing. The conditions are pretty much the same, and the more you move to smaller, more specialized boards, everything becomes more and more individual. So it makes sense, especially for waveboards, to actually talk to people, listen to the people, ask where they sail, how they sail, what they sail. And so then you start mixing rocker lines, you start mixing outlines, you start mixing different components to make it fit whoever wants the board or needs the board.
Exactly. That's what we did with Rintje, because first we got him a regular F-Wave or G-Wave, and that board didn't really fit his body size, his weight, his power, and so we made a G-Wave special, and that's the one here we have here. We gave it a little squash tail, so it has a little bit more, it carries a little bit better than we would do with a swallowtail. Yeah, Rintje, this thing basically handles anything.
Yeah, and still a big range. I can say that with the 4.0, what's actually my smallest sail, and yeah, it can sail it not easy, but it's still sail with 9-10 bow far. I think nothing is easy with that conditions.
I just don't sail when it's that windy. I mean, like,
It's still.
You're hanging on.
no, that's coffee shop territory.
Doing well with the 5.3, little bit larger fin under the board, and it's easy in the turns and it's easy to handle. It jumps easy because it has some speed. Here on the ice there, where you have the small choppy waves, you need some speed to get in the air. So I'm satisfied with the board. The first one was not really
No,
good, but
didn't fit you,
no, didn't
but
fit
it fits Marcel.
Yeah.
Fits me.
Yeah, you got that one, right?
Yeah.
yeah. That's,
And then this one came.
yeah, it's just for a regular person. Right? Then you look at his legs. It's not regular.
Still smiling when I saw this board.
Yeah. Well, that's the way we also think we worked, which is a personal. It's a satisfaction is guaranteed. We don't want people to be unhappy with their Thommen boards. We're such a small brand, and we're small and beautiful, and we like to keep our customers, our friends. Basically, you can see there. It's more of a gathering, a friendly gathering. Everybody likes to know we're in an app group together. Sometimes there's bullshit on it, but most of the time it's about windsurfing when it's windy. But new development, these boards are built. We like to post stuff on that, so you actually can see how the board has been, how it goes through the stages at Flicka. Of course, Peter is busy, so it's not a constant given, but we try to give him. We have to give some output to you guys, so you can actually see how it's been made.
Yeah.
But if somebody's not happy for some reason, and in this case it was my fault to misjudge, his body size, his weight a little bit, so we corrected that, and we gave the board, which is actually which he's really happy with. Marcel is slightly smaller. Has a little bit less power than he has, and Marcel is on his old 95, and.
Loves it.
Loves it.
Works.
Works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
works
exactly.
Yeah.
And the same happened to our friend Paul Tebbe. Paul, He's not, which is the loudmouth on our WhatsApp group. And Paul is out sailing. He works on a boat, and he's I think it's more like this. The stuurman on the boat, so I don't know how it's called, boatsman, whatever. But Paul is not there, and he's probably watching, and he's gonna give us some shit later on as well. But Paul, he came here, and Paul is even, he's about my size, plus.
Okay.
And Paul said, I want a 92 waveboard. And there was no discussion, it had to be 92. And I said, yeah, okay. And the problem is I tell him a 92 liter, it comes out 92 because the computer calculates its dimension and it comes out as a 92. Paul was sailing with it, couldn't get going. He was just plowing through the water, nothing happened. So actually we said, okay, no problem. We'll bake you a new board, and which finally ended up. And Marcel took over who took it over? Who has that? Not you. Wim. Wim. But he's hiding. He doesn't want to be. You just have to come in front of the camera for a second. He's not coming. So Wim took it over. Great sailor. He's happy as he's using it to down through his 3.7 in stormy conditions. So it works really nicely on the IJsselmeer. And going from the G-Wave, we have a new owner. He actually only sailed my demo board, but he never touched his own. Fritz.
I touched it.
Yeah, you touched it. Probably you're sleeping with it as well.
It got wet, it floats, but it doesn't sail.
That didn't sail yet, but he tried my 85.
It's called windsurfing, huh?
He tried my 85, fell in love with it. Fritz comes from a Wave X83. Yeah. One of the old ones, the bamboo or the carbon ones?
The carbon ones.
The carbon one. Black.
Okay.
Yeah. So which is quite some time ago, and Fritz, thought it was time to please himself with something nice, and we got him a G-Wave 89, I think, a little bit more volume.
Yeah.
89.
89, yes.
Yeah.
So
more because, I trust you.
yeah. Go for more.
You need a 5 liters, you need a...
I mean, if you don't trust me, then the satisfaction guarantee thing doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
then he just blames it on me.
exactly.
Easy.
That's easy.
So
He's a salesman
so
after all.
Is, we'll get more feedback from Fritz later on if he's actually had a chance to really thoroughly sail. You had it one go on the 85, and it worked fantastically for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, otherwise you would have.
Really nimble, but not on the curves. And that's what I need.
Yeah, you want to have him loose and then set.
That feeling.
You want to have him set in the bottom turn.
Okay, we move
that's
on
the
to the G-Wave.
That's that. That's what you just said.
Where's one? Mine is here.
Oops.
It's actually one of the first G-Waves.
Wave or
Wave R, sorry. Marcel, we have our walking encyclopedia here. Thanks, Marcel. My 89, this is how it all started with the, it started basically on the Brunotti wave boards, but this is one of the first ones we built as Thommen. It's a board which works extremely well in the North Sea. It's so good that I actually got my junior there to use it, and I got Ronald here to use it, and I got Remy here to use it. Come on, boys, move a little bit closer. Of course, we make them we make them a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Because those kids, they don't like the stuff we sail.
I'm not kidding.
No, Ron, you have the
on top.
regular one. Yeah, put it back. They have the team edition. Remy as well. Remy was first really hung up on his own design. And he was talking lengthy emails with Peter.
Sorry.
That was like...
Sorry, Peter.
There is worse, I tell you.
But Remy had all sorts of ideas, and those ideas
You're
were
like
kind of cool.
a mild case. I have other ones.
And
Trust
we actually built him a board. In the end, Yeah, like this.
Like a 6'8", 2 meter 4 or something.
Yeah, it was 204. Yeah, 204, 205.
Probably the reason for that was that Remy doesn't have a driver's license, so he has to travel by public transport. Meaning he would like to have a board which easily carries on a train. So
I did.
yeah. So we got him a board, and we
It's
were
good.
just discussing that because Remy normally he does 2 boards a year. That's your regular rate. With the custom boards you've gone to, they hold up a little bit better, but we overbuilt one for him. It made it too strong. You can also make boards too strong, and that board actually didn't last. It lasted 2 years.
Something like that.
Yeah, 2 maybe, and then it went. My junior has to still kill his first board, but it's a different approach. Ronald is
Only 2.5 years on the same board.
on the same board, which is also pretty good for the guys. Really often take it to the North Sea. You know, whenever they're southwest, they're off. And Remy is, we said, Remy, just give Philip's board a try. I think you tried it in an event or so. On,
I tried it at Wijk aan Zee first.
I think so. Like a was.
Yeah. Well, first at Zandvoort maybe, doing like Dutch championship thing. Yeah, it's just easy. Like no, but it's like.
That's all about, dude.
It's just like an easy.
You're
board.
supposed to do the difficult shit. It's not up to the
leave
board,
room
you
for
know.
that. That's good. So it turns really well, but also it keeps speed, which you want on in North Sea for sure, because the waves are not like too powerful. So you want to have a board which turns, but also which you can trust and just know when it turns and that it just keeps like flow. Which was, I think that was the thing with like a really short board. It had a sweet spot which was really good, and you could like really fit it into like tight pockets. But it's less like user friendly when you want like just one board and just take it everywhere.
Nah, it's
And you want to turn well. I think it's pretty brilliant for that. So happy. It stays in one piece.
yeah, show your board, Remy. Take it out. Show the world. I was happily surprised to see how it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in one piece, and it's still perfect. Remy is known among his friends to be the demolisher. I mean, he's wrecking ball.
Wrecking ball.
Remy. Yeah. So, well done, Flicker. I mean, we just gave him regular construction with a little bit of extra reinforcement on the rail, and that was it. I mean, it's basically a standard construction from them. And
Yeah, that was just a sticker, actually. But anyway.
I want to say,
Yeah, come on.
yeah, for the wakeboard, for me particularly, is when I'm on a wave, I do this and I'm concentrating on everything what is happening by me, but I'm not still thinking on my board. For me, it is very important that the board has to do what I'm doing with my feet.
Yeah.
And the wave R is
That's what they do.
a very easy to sail board. When there comes a wave, I only do this, then the board bumps over the wave. When I jibe, I'm not thinking about the board. The board has to follow my feet, and that is.
It goes where you look, actually.
Yeah, where I look, the board has to go to.
That's what it does.
It's kind of a skateboard. What is, and especially we have the K4 fins. I think we go with very soft fins.
Yeah.
So
Always
you
better.
flow. It's when you're on a wave, you can do a little bit skatey style. So
Yeah, that's what you liked. I remember that we were sailing. The first time I had to still convince you, and I let you have a sail on my 89 on the Meerns, and it was a east or south. It was south on Meerns, and we were sailing there, and you were on my board, and you came back, and it was like yes. And I saw some cool skatey stuff, and I was okay.
and that's the one.
For him, it was the one, and he just took a 85. You have?
I have an 85. I have in the very light construction again, because I'm not like Remy, a breaker of a board. Yes, I do my back loops. Yes, I do my front loops.
But you actually stand them.
That means it's a lack of technique.
No, when I'm on a wave on the North Sea, and it's a hard hit.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about the material. I know it's good, I have with the sails, I have it with my boards. Before Thommen, I used, first of all, when I was a young kid, I built my own boards because in my opinion, there were no good boards.
Obviously, yeah.
That was in the 90s and the 2000s.
There were good boards already.
No, 80s and 90s.
I was
guess.
building boards already, man.
For me, a little bit too expensive, I think.
Okay.
So later on, I thought I want to have a waveboard. I tried RD, I tried Fanatic, but we from Holland, we are a little bit more bigger than the French guys. So everything, what I it was small,
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Right?
Mark had his first prototypes, and I know Philip has an 82.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, and the first time I come in the shop,
Yeah,
I
that's
said,
the second
Mark,
one, right?
I think that's the one.
Yeah. Well, that's a funny thing because we built. This was the first one, Philip's first one, and it's actually owned by Arjan now. And that thing is, I think it's about 5 years old now. Still in good shape. It's still alive, and yeah. I mean, okay.
3 times Cape Town, you did?
Yep. And now Arjan is happy with it. Perfect. Yeah, perfect board. Yeah, show Arjan to show the world who's Arjan. There he is, and his father.
I forgot that it was totally white.
That's true, because Mariah actually took it with her to Cape Town, and she's gone. But she had massive fins on it, so Ricardo wasn't too happy about it. But he said that it goes. That's was his remark. It was quick.
Yeah,
so,
it goes, it doesn't turn.
Yeah. So yeah, brings us to some specials we also do. It's not necessarily what's on the website that we're offering. We're catering to a big public, basically to anybody. If you want something special, just get in contact and we'll try to filter
whatever
it.
You need, whatever you want.
Exactly, that's the idea. So we made a quad with Kevin Mewison at first. I mean, it's too bad he. I was one of his first sponsors. And it would have been cool to be his last, but apparently, I mean, for some reasons, you know, wasn't a perfect match with some stuff, with my sales and with boards. Happens, so he went for some other stuff. So I figured, well, keep it and
keep it in the family.
Keep it in the family, and so Junior is sailing with it with a quad. Philip,
Yeah.
When you use it?
Not a lot of times actually. I just use it once or twice.
We also do specials, as said, and then they come out like this. BJ Solutions, where is he? Where is our friend? Jan, come up. Jan, good afternoon. Here's my friend Jan.
How are you?
As he fan from day one, I will never sell him anything else. And
because I will never buy something else.
he did. He replaced his first 7.5 only this year after using it for almost 10 years. So it's a big salute to Dave Ezzy for making excellent quality. Jan was a proud owner of a gun 115 because we saw there's tons of guys just going for one thing, quick. Go through the nasty, choppy section of the water here, and just go as quick as they can, make a nice jibe, because actually Jan can jibe, comes back in, does the same thing, and it's impossible to keep up with this guy. I mean, he should actually go, try for some speed stuff, because he will be really good at it. He's quick. I could not, even on your old Alpha. Yeah, I couldn't even keep up with him. So Jan is incredibly quick. I was like, oh, fuck. And then I gave him the gun, and he's even quicker. And now, after... How long did that board last? 6, 7, 8 years? I don't know.
5, 6 years.
5, 6 years. And then it's time for that board to go to his son Bram. And Bram is the junior is using it. And so you don't think that BJ stands for Bram and Jan. So it does not blowjob solutions, but it's Bram and Jan. Jan got a nice black special design Gun 115 again because he didn't want anything else. So he said, yeah, well, don't change a lot. And it's good, I'm happy.
I'm very happy with this. Well, save me from the technical details. These guys, well, I feel like a youngster, more or less. I do this surfing now for 10 years. All these technical things go to this guy. Keywords for me, light, fast, and
strong.
Strong, also strong, of course, and happy and very easy to handle. That's my keywords.
Good.
Good.
No, we can.
And I found myself a good sponsor.
Yeah. 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 BJ Solutions for all your storage issues in the textile industry. Yeah. Jan is doing all that stuff for big companies, huh?
Oh, very big company.
No, big companies. You're doing that for companies.
Big companies,
yeah, for all the clothing guys, the giants all over Europe. And small company, but big in their big in their solutions. So keep it in mind, BJ Solutions, if you ever want to be a tycoon for like. Okay, thanks, Jan. So we do specials, and it's a gun.
Custom.
It's a custom, but we also like to cater to another market, which is the standardized market, where people just come into my shop and they want to go windsurfing, and they don't want to have, the hassle of going through of stance. This is the stance, the spread of your foot strap, shape details and stuff, which I actually, most of them took away already because we have standardized some stuff, but we actually are trying to standardize a little bit of our boards. So we actually have some stock, and we're building some boards in Tarifa with my friends from Sailboards Tarifa, hola Sergio and Juan and Pedro. Thanks, guys. They are making a range of, a compact range of boards, which we'll be having on stock. It's standardized custom production. From the left to the right, you have the free wave. The four-wheel drive is in between. We discussed it already. That's our Swiss Army tool, basically, does anything. And then on the right-hand side, you have the glide wounder, which we come in a standard 145 and 165. And so those will be available from spring 2019, and we'll be showing them on the Boot Düsseldorf as well. And then we're coming to almost to a conclusion of our show, but I just want to have a very special board pass by. It's brought, the proud owner is DJ Dirk Jan. Come, let's talk a little bit about your board. Take it and bring it, if you will, so we can have a chat about it.
Yeah.
Oh. En wat zegt hij?
Can you show the ultimate bump and jump?
Yeah.
Fabric? The board of what?
Yeah, the board.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Ultimate bump and jump weapon.
Yeah.
Still going for cable conditions.
Yeah.
Tell us something.
Yeah, it's. I remember those.
We will. What's his name again?
As I told you before, I mean that really comes off what a good friend of mine is sailing, and he is a really sturdy, heavy guy, and he wanted something like Kai. Kai. He's 140, really good wave sailor, and this was the first. I mean, one of the first really big waveboards you ordered me. So
yeah,
that's
actually, it's really nice. Hope you can see it. Can you zoom into it? Really cool looking stick. It's made at the Nelson factory on Maui, and it's specially made for my friend DJ here. And it's one of the prettiest boards. There was the bamboo tine, some carbon on it. It's a classic. It's really nicely done, and DJ is really happy with it. I think. Still, yeah, he's in love with it.
Holding up. I mean, how old is it now? It's like 6-7 years.
2011. When we just moved into this building, we made him this stick, and it's a pretty board. So
easy to handle, just plug and play.
But this is the basic board. I mean, I think we from this we went on.
As well, yeah. I mean, it's like, as I said, big waveboards like that, nobody did it really at the moment.
Exactly.
It just started. Now it's commonplace to have a 100 liter or 110 liter waveboard, but 6-7 years ago that just started. So it was kind of, for me, it was like, for everybody, it's like, okay, where do you go? And fortunately, I had friends who were into that because they needed it. Like,
yeah. Well, as said, we just made a board for Matthijs. He's 2 meters.
Yeah.
He's well over the 100 kilos, obviously, because he's a tall guy, and he likes to enjoy life, and so he's pretty. he needs a bit of power in his board. Needs a bit of power in his sails, and that's what we actually got him. And that's what we got DJ here. He's also a husky fellow, powerful enough, so he needs some beef. This is a 110 liter wave board, so basically one board for anything. Huh? I mean, we go sailing in outdoor when we can. When there's wind and it happens, we are there. And Dick is going, you know, he's on a 5.0 and I'm desperately looking for my 4.2, you know, and he still goes on with his 5.0, like nothing happens. And he's strong as an ox. So yeah, that's I think. Well, I think Rintje just told me that we have a question from
Sort of Nick.
Yeah, and he's saying,
can you show us the ultimate bump and jump weapon from IJsselmeer, Ketelmeer conditions, and tell us something about it?
I think we don't know when he tuned into that, but that's basically the F-wave.
F-wave or a cross-X.
I mean, depending on which conditions you... thanks, DJ. It depends on which conditions you're looking at. If it's wavy conditions, I would say the F-wave, yeah, or a G-wave, which is also handling stronger winds, which is slightly narrower than the F-wave. So it's basically, you know, a matter of the width. So what size, but and it depends on you. But I think the where is it? My 101. Here it is. My love toy here. It's basically the one you in a 95 or 89 or whatever size would be that board, which has this bump and jump abilities. It's quick. You want something which actually you can trigger just by pushing a little bit. If the board gets a little bit narrower, it is a little bit difficult. Although the G-wave is a nice bump and jumper as well. So it's somewhere G-wave. Or the F-wave.
Depends on the size and
exactly.
what you're looking for.
And which wave, which wind spectrum you're after. If you're after the low end or you're after the high end. So that's not a real clear answer, but if I would say one board that basically does all here, it is, I would say, my free wave, my F-wave. And but if you are more on the slalomish side, yeah, a cross would do the bump and jump thing as well, Rintje. I mean,
easy to handle, and that's why I choose the Cross X, as Mark was actually choosing it for me.
Yes, no saying.
That's how it works.
I'm
Yeah.
satisfied with it that he was.
Yeah, now I come across like a little dictator, but which I actually am. So. I mean, it's easy. If you want something else, it's your own. It's at your own expense. If we make something wrong, and if I, we try to accommodate your wishes and get to that filter, to that perfect board, and which works.
Sometimes you trust the guys who have the knowledge. So then.
Exactly. Yeah. When it comes to skating, I'll trust you.
Just sail it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty much it. Yeah, there's a lot of just people standing behind us, which didn't want to be on the movie. There we see my friend Wim as well. Iron, he doesn't want to be in the picture. His dad and our Speedy. Yeah, we have to talk about this to this guy Arnold. We have to get him on our slalom boards, I think, at some stage. He is open to it. And there's another fan for something which is. Maybe Thommen, he's still on RRDs and he's enjoying them very much, the fire ride, fire moves. But yeah. Oh yeah, he has a cross R as well.
Yeah, okay.
The fast one.
Cross X. Cross X.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there is some other guys on the other side, but
he's not a lost cause then.
he's not a lost cause. We'll be okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Hey, thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll have a little beer here. If you have this video, Jort, come on, Jort, come up for a second. The guy who makes it all possible.
Yes.
Jort, this is the second time he was here. He did it with Simmer, with Mikael. That was a nice one. We had quite some views. And it still was viewed. And that was about the Luderich speed and the speed stuff for Simmer, which is quite cool. Now Peter was here. Next one up will be Morpho, I guess. We have to come up for that one. And I'll have to dig deep
So you do it yourself?
I do it myself, and that will be kind of boring, so that's a reason for me not doing it yet. Again, but this would be the setup. Actually, there's a lot of Morpho owners here as well, so Bram, what do you say?
Morpho, I have...
But thanks, Jort.
He just morphed into it, yeah.
No, Morphos are really great sails, especially if you want to sail in light winds. And it's old school sails. I used to sail those UP sails as well. And they don't make it anymore. But Morpho is very strong. They last for 10 years, I think. They're really built.
We shall see that.
Even longer than
longer. When I'm 21, I'm still sailing those sails.
That's why they sell it. They sold at full price.
Sails to my grave. So it's.
Yeah. Remco, I sold you full batch of Simmer first, but you're moving.
I'm moving slowly to I have 3 Morphos now, and
getting there.
Yep.
Getting there. Yeah. And what do you say?
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, powerful and stable in windy conditions.
Yeah. I'm missing the word light, but maybe Marcel will tell us. Marcel, he has a full-on range.
Yeah, they're very light. Even my wife likes them. So no, they're also fantastic, especially the bigger ones. I think they're really Morpho. You don't need a lot of wind, and especially in a combination with the glide boomer, it's
good combination.
Yeah, it's like the name says, it's a wonder. So I really like them. So.
And you just need less masts and booms because you can sail small sizes in light winds. So
there you go.
Yeah. Stuff to carry.
Remy, we have a wave sailor here. Remy, a few words to my sails because I got you converted. Yeah, sorry for that, Simmer, but you make fantastic sails, by the way. But
yeah, I used to have like black tips, right? To 5.0 on the 76, and now I have 4.5, 4.0, and 3.4, and actually I get going probably early on the 4.5 because it feels quite playful, it's quite compact, but it does have some power. So especially when you sail smaller boards, it's quite nice.
Yeah.
Get the low end.
That's what you want, right? So basically when other guys are on 4.7, 5.0, I take my 4.5 and loving it. So that's good.
Yeah, remember, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's not only powerful sails for guys our size, and even Ringe is using them as well, you know, but it's guys, you know, which are lighter, well below the 80 kilos, 75 kilo range. I remember being very proud of my developed sail, giving it to my son Philip. I said, yo, have a go with it. And he was totally hooked on his black tips. I could not, you know, talk him into it. And he, okay, if you have to. And I said, yeah, maybe, you know, you have to. Maybe one day this could be yours. So give it a go. And so he actually, okay, reluctant. He was willing to give it a go. And then he came back with a 4.7. He said, well, fuck, this is way too big. I cannot, it's so heavy. I mean, it's so powerful, I cannot use it. I said, okay, my bad. Wait till the final sails are coming. And then I gave him a 4.2 instead. And now again, the same thing as Remy. 4.5 is his biggest sail. Yeah. And so that's pretty cool with that. Yeah. So
need less real estate on the beach.
Exactly. Less sails. Less sail. Big range. Big range. Yeah. Okay. Hey, well, that's a little thing from our sponsor. Again, thanks to Brunotti for all the support over the last couple of years, making this all possible. And we'll be back with some very interesting news in the short future. Until then, have a great winter. Hope you get out to go sailing. And if you ever want to try a board, come talk to us. Shoot us a message over whatever, Facebook or Twitter or what's the other one, Instagram, YouTube.
Whatever.
And
Whatever.
we'll be happy to accommodate you. Thanks, Peter, for coming over. Thanks to all of you guys for actually your trust put
Thank
in.
you guys.
In our stuff, and that's an applause for you. Thanks. This is it. Jort again. I can't thank you enough. You're the man, and he's also sailing F2. F2. He is sailing a Thommen too, with a Morpho, and happy as hell. Huh? Good stuff.
Oh, good.
Okay, man.
Alrighty.
Thanks a lot, and see you next time, and tune in the other time. Thanks.
Okay, thanks guys.